What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Terrell Speaks. I'm your host, Timothy Wilkes, and this is the show where I do commentary on current events as well as other interesting topics. Be sure to follow me on my social media platforms, Timothy T. Wilkes on Facebook, Terrell Speaks on YouTube, and Terrell Gotta Me Wilkes on Instagram. And also, to show your support, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, engage, and last but not least, enjoy the show. Alright, let's go in. We can get this party started. I haven't been on in a while because I've had a lot of things to try to put together. Had to come up with some kind of routine to get my life in order because I became a father again, and managing that stuff out with business and trying to work and everyday to day stuff, even with my music and stuff, it gets kind of hectic, and I hadn't been able to really get deeply involved in doing research on new materials for new episodes and things like that, because priorities, my real life kind of trumps anything I do on the internet. So I had to make a decision. I had to take a little break and things like that. But like I said, this topic has been circling, and I understand why, because it's the freaking Oscars. So it's a big discussion, and I can understand that. And I normally don't do celebrity stuff, but being that this one is a big topic, I can see, I can see myself doing a topic like this because it's pretty big, and it's not like I normally cover homicides and people being killed or murdered or kids being protecting our children, and I've always been an advocate for that, or things that go on in our community. But I couldn't help but to do this when I kept hearing about it, kept seeing it. Of course, it's viral because it was on national television. But anyway, a lot of people had their opinions on who was right, who was wrong, and what kind of person is Jada, what kind of person is Will, what kind of So, but I'll voice my opinion. I have different perceptions. I can't just see this from one side. I have two different, three. I can see one side, see the other side. I'm going to talk to the Chris Rock aspect. I'm going to talk about the Will Smith aspect, and I want to talk about how things really should have happened, how it should have been handled, the whole situation, how it should have been handled. And I can and people because you have you're gonna have your sides. Who's right? They gonna say, some people gonna say Chris Rock was dead wrong, he deserved what he got. People say Will Smith was dead wrong and he shouldn't have went up there. That was inappropriate. That way he carried himself wasn't right. And I can't say I disagree with either side, So but we can talk about it. I know as far as with Will Smith, his family and his marriage, those things have been under attack for years. Now we know that him and his wife had an open marriage, and they want to bring up the entanglement and all that other stuff. But the reason I say I don't think about that is because if Will and Jada have already moved on from it, kind of, they've already talked about it, they talked it out on TV, they hashed it out, and he may not be completely healed. I'm not saying he is or isn't, but the thing is, they've already publicly, quote unquote, moved on from that situation. And the whole open marriage aspect of the deal, do I agree with that? No, because I have respect for marriage, that it shouldn't be open. Sharing, the whole idea of sharing somebody with somebody else, that whole ordeal is, you can open yourself up to those type of situations. So I believe the door was left open due to them having an open marriage in the first place, and even though it happened when they were separated. That's aside the point. What I'm trying to because that I try not to dive too deep off into that, because it's a side. Whenever this topic is discussed, I see they always discuss their marriage, Will and Jada's marriage, but the main point of it main point of the whole topic is this situation: him slapping Chris Rock. You know what I'm saying? And everybody used this analyzation. He was laughing at first when the joke was told, and when he saw the look on Jada's face that she wasn't happy about the joke, she didn't like it. Then he made his move. I think this whole situation, as far as him, was based off his mental state. He has a lot going on mentally because, and the reason why I brought up the marriage and all that stuff in the beginning, because all this streamed from that. Because first they was talking about, because I've just because I don't discuss celebrity stuff don't mean I don't always keep up with it. They was talking about this man kids for years. His kids was in the limelight for years, and they was talking negatively about his kids. His kids was weird and doing this and this and that. You know, not saying it was or wasn't justified, but what I'm saying is, I'm looking at the facts of what was going on. His kids was getting attacked, and then the whole entanglement thing, and then all that had an effect on him, because that brought him into the spotlight, and then people started badmouthing him about the whole Illuminati, all that kind of stuff. So he was in the spotlight bad for years too. They were trying to say he was gay, all kind of stuff. So when you look at it like this, he got years of being badmouthed, years of being talked about, years of being humiliated, years of being of dealing with this. Year after year after year, people saying stuff about you, saying stuff about your kids, saying stuff about your wife. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they didn't open the door for this. Again, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, it happened. So if you do something, and people talk about what you did for years and years and years and years, you did that thing you did. Let's say you make a mistake, and you do something wrong, and years later people still picking at you about that. Bam, 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 bam. Eventually you're gonna snap. After years of being, and then his mental state, he's already dealing with a lot of mentally. He might not have the best mental health. He might need some help mentally. And I can understand that people have triggers. I'm not saying because you can't expect unstable people to do rational things. You can't, because they're unstable. Their mental state is not good. So I can understand it from that aspect. Did he handle it correctly? No, he couldn't have. But he didn't handle it correctly. But we're gonna go into that later, because I think something's been going on with his mental state. It's been going downhill for years, and from my understanding, I think he was in therapy or something like that. But he's had a lot of problems and stuff going on mentally. He's had a lot of hardships with him and his family. Cause I've seen some of his videos and everything about how when he was talking about his life and his journey, and how he was trying to find his identity. He was struggling to find who he was since childhood, and he's been struggling with a lot of those things mentally. He's been struggling mentally for years, and then he's struggling in his marriage. He's struggling when had family struggles, and then he was battling internally with himself, and you go from that to now his wife is being brought up again. That could have been a trigger. Not necessarily. I don't think Chris Rock meant any harm. I don't think he did. I don't think he did. This is just my opinions now. I don't think Chris Rock meant any harm. Now, as far as his side, I think as far as Chris Rock's thing, I think if he did know about Jada's condition, that joke was a little out of pocket. If he did know. If he didn't, then I don't know if he knew, because it may have been under the assumption that he didn't, that he knew about Jada's condition and he made a joke. And if he did, it was a little too far, especially if him and Will were friends, or if they knew each other, they had some kind of connection. Even if you friends, or if you have some kind of, if y'all know each other, or if y'all associates, or y'all, you have to know how far to go when it comes to that. But like I said, he's a comedian. Comedians kind of get low blows and stuff every now and then. They're gonna give you some low blows. They're gonna talk bad about you. But I think that joke could have been left out, and it would have still been a funny routine. You know, he could have had a funny routine, even without the joke, even without the hair joke. You know, so some things, if you know about somebody's condition, if you know what somebody's going on, especially if they having health problems, or if they haven't gone through a lot and then it's affecting their mental health, I don't think certain jokes are appropriate. Even like normally I always take the comedian side, because they tell racist jokes all the time, they tell insensitive jokes all the time, they tell homophobic jokes all the time, they talk, comedians joke and bash on everybody. They talk about white people, they talk about black people, they talk about other comedians, they talk about other celebrities, they make fun of themselves, they will bash and trash themselves. So as far as a comedian standpoint, because I think Will may have taken it a little too personal, but I know why. Like I was explaining forward, he's had an uphill battle with his life, as far as mentally, as far as and I believe it's taking an effect on his mental state. I do hope he gets the help he needs, but I think it's taking an effect on his mental health. And that's what, because anybody that would do that at the Oscars on national television, they have some kind of mental stuff going on. That's why I'm not just bashing Will. I'm not finna just bash. He's crazy. He's stupid. He's dumb. He's ridiculous. Something's wrong with him. I think he's just. I believe he needs some professional help to get that under control. Some issues that he may have to deal with, even from his past and even with his present, because that will cause you to go off the deep end and do things that may be unstable, that may look that can be inappropriate, that can be out of pocket. We don't know what's inside the mind of Will Smith. We don't know what's in his head. That's why I ain't just jumping on the bandwagon or just trashing the man, because I don't know what's in his head. I don't know what's in his mind. You know what I'm saying? And I believe in this whole situation, I don't believe Chris Rock meant any harm. I don't think he did. He was just telling the joke. He just joking. He was just, he tells jokes. That's what comedians do. Adam Sandler, even Richard Pryor used to do it. He was probably worse than Kevin Hart. All these people, they were worse. They tell jokes. They joke. Dave Chappelle, like they harped on Dave Chappelle because of the jokes he made with LGBT, and because a lot of comedians been catching heat lately about jokes. They gave Kevin Hart heat a while back. So comedians lately have been catching heat, and a lot of times, and from his perspective, Chris Rock's perspective, I think it took a lot for him to keep going after that, and because his job to tell jokes, make people laugh. He's known for joking the joke, taking little jabs at people, talking about, he that's part of his, routine. Anytime he's hosting something, just like with Jamie Foxx, with any of them, they comedians. So that's their thing. All of them are known for telling these jokes, and they might talk about your family, they might talk about your kid, they might talk about you, they might talk about themselves. They get a good laugh, and a lot of times it's surface level, and a lot of times it's not, ain't no harm meant in it, but in that line of career, you may tend to hurt some people's feelings. You may tend to say things that involve you being ridiculed, involve you being chastised, because you may have went too far. Some jokes might go too far. Some jokes might, especially if that person is dealing with a lot of personal issues, especially that joke it triggers. It sets some triggers off, because that joke, because I believe she takes that hair condition seriously. She has the condition, alopecia. When last I checked, when she was talking about that condition, she took it very serious, even though it may be something that might be common or something that a lot of people overlook. As far as we have to look at the perspective of how they take it, what's not serious to you may be real serious to somebody else. They may take that real serious. If they hair falling out, Some women they devastated off of that, and if you joke about it, and that's something, because that's something I did see a video about a while back, that really she took that hard. She took her hair loss condition pretty hard, and that's something that her and Will, they both were struggling with for a long time. And then when he made that joke, cause we don't know what they go through when the camera's not on, when the light's not on, when it's not rolling, when the television ain't on. We don't know what they dealing with in their own personal marriage. And when that was said, it could have triggered. People have triggers, cause you could trigger somebody and they'll flash out, bam. They forget where they at. They forget what's going on. And they forget all sense of rationale. When you trigger somebody, they don't care where they at. They don't care if they're at the Oscars. They don't care if they're at a banquet. They don't care if they in church. They don't care. When you trigger somebody, that's it. You know what I'm saying? They lose that sense of rationale. So that's what I believe would happen to Will. He lost that sense of rationale. He went back to, he went back to Will from Philly. You know, he wasn't Will at the Oscars no more. Just like they could be, you have the nicest person in the world. They could be a missionary, they could be a minister or something like that. You mess with their kids, they not a pastor no more. They whoever they was raised, whoever they was when they grew up before they got saved, that's who they are now. When you trigger them, so when you trigger a person, they get outside of themselves. So that's why I'm not harping on nobody in this situation. It's not I like to get inside people's head and see what they was thinking, because something obviously triggered him, especially when he saw that look on Jada's face. And people try to say, I talk about this too. People try to say that she's a narcissist, or she's evil, or she's the worst person in the world. I don't know what Jada is. I don't know what she does. I don't know what kind of person she is. I ain't sat down and talked to her, because I have a decent level of discernment. I personally hadn't sat down and talked to her, because you could see, because media has a way of portraying people in a good or bad light, depending on what gets the most likes, what gets the most views, what people gonna gravitate towards the most. People have media has a way of doing that, and so that's why I don't just, she's a narcissist, she's manipulative, she's controlling him. I don't know that. I don't know. We don't know if he was just triggered on his own, because Will is grown. He's a grown man, and at one point she can't have too much control. She can't be too controlled, because at one point he was done with her. He said it like, Jada, I was through with you. I was gone. They was finna get a divorce. They was out. He was out of there. That's why I say that whole August thing. Will was at that point, they was going through a divorce. They thought they was getting divorced. They thought they was going. So she was in a vulnerable state, and he was in a, August was dealing with some mental stuff. It was a lot of that whole situation. It was just one big mistake. But anyway, like I said, they dealt with a lot of hard issues with their marriage, and we don't know what happened. We can't say what happened. When the lights was off, when the cameras was off, when behind closed doors, so they could have been triggered. I don't think that Jada is controlling him. Might be, might not be. I don't know. This is my opinion now. Terrell speaks for a reason. I use my opinion. I don't think she's manipulating him, because if whatever's going on, he's allowing it, because he's the man, he's the head, whatever. I think it can't nothing go on without him allowing it. And you do have controlling women, but we have to allow it. You know what I'm saying? We have to allow you. If one person is leading, that has to be allowed. That has to be through his consent. I don't think she's narcissistic and all that stuff. I don't have any proof of that. I can't just say what she is or what she is, and I can't just go around, she's a bad person, or she's crazy, she's selfish, and she's all for her. I can't really say that. I don't know. I hadn't sat down and talked to her. Hadn't hung out with her. Me and her never had drinks together. Me and her never went out to eat or we never went out to dinner. So I don't know. I can't tell you what type of person she is. And people say if folks saying you have to be that way towards your woman, if you don't go out there and slap a man to defend your woman, I can address that too. That ain't always the best way to handle a situation, because some people, everybody ain't Chris Rock. Everybody ain't gonna act like they at the Oscars. You go out there and do that on the streets, you gonna have some problems. Some people gonna put out something. Some people got something for you. If you think you're gonna just go walk them to them and put your hands on them, some people have things. They have stuff for you. If you go up to them, you can't just walk with nobody on the street and just slap them. That ain't how it work in real life. That's at the Oscars. That's in Hollywood. That's on stage. That's at one of a prestigious event. You can't compare that to everyday life. You can't just say, "Oh, if my man ain't doing that over me, then he ain't no real man." No, I can't get on that train, because I'm not going. If somebody say something about my woman, hypothetically, if I had a woman, if somebody just say something about her, I'm not gonna just up and just slap them. Now, if they try to put their hands on her, that's one thing. But if they just talking noise, now I defend her with words. But I'm not gonna just up and punch the dude in the face, because people have knives, people have guns, folks will get you riled up just to press charges on you. Now they have you sitting in court. Now you having to go to court. Now you having to pay fines and all this stuff, because you have crazy people out there. They vindictive. They'll get you mad, get you riled up, just so you hit them and they press charges on you. Call the police on you. You got Karens that do it all the time. So you got people that think like that. People will do that to you. So that's what I'm saying. We can't just think like that. Can't just think irrational like that. We can't. Every dude around here is not Will Smith status. That's Will Smith, and that's Chris Rock. They can get away with stuff like that. Chris Rock. I seen an article where Chris Rock declined the press charges. So I saw where Will Smith reportedly apologized. I hadn't read that one yet. I'll look into it. And if he did, I believe it was just something probably to clear his career up or something. Because we'll see as things go on. That's why I don't just judge it right away. We'll see as things go on what happens when it comes to that. We'll see in future events. But I think this is another story that people are going to forget about eventually. I think that I don't think it's going to last too long. I think as soon as somebody else do something crazy, they're going to be on that bandwagon. That's why I don't just harp on people. Oh, this person this, and Will Smith is terrible. And man, they've been in the spotlight for years. They've been trashing this man's family for years. That's why I'm gonna let him make it this time. Cause they've been bashing this man. They were bashing this man kids. And like I said, as far as the marriage, I think they may have opened themselves up to it. This is my opinion on the whole marriage thing. I don't agree with open marriage, and this is one of the main reasons why. Because it opens up the doors to a lot of things. It opens up doorways to quote-unquote entanglements, and to quote-unquote people bashing your wife, people talking about you, and whatever you doing, things that you do. This is my opinion now. I already analyzed it from their side, from their perspective, and what was on their mind, because I'm also an understanding person. But as far as what we do, we can't do things and be in the public eye and expect to not be criticized. That's my take on it. We public figures. If you're gonna be a public figure, if you're gonna be out in the spotlight, everything you do, everything you say can and will be used against you. You have to pretend like you're under arrest. Now, I always say that because people watching, and they looking for a reason. They looking for a story. They looking for something to get clout off of. They looking for something to build their name off of. People want to make a good name for themselves. They want to post videos that go viral. They looking for stuff. They looking for clicks and likes, and it's that generation. where that's popping. So if they find something, they get a story, they gonna run with it. Especially if you're a reporter and you have a potentially juicy story, you gonna put words in there and add stuff to it and whatever it take to get your recognition. So, but I'm not this is my opinion. As far as open marriage, I'm not an advocate for it. But like I said, it's their choice. I can't tell them what to do. It's their choice. It's what they want. It's what they like. That's what they do. That was their decision. Now at the same time, they made the bed, so they have to kind of lay in that bed. Because with open marriage, while I don't agree with you, you inviting other people into your life, into your marriage, into your bedroom, into wherever it is your the sanctity of your home. Not as far as physical home, but when you married, y'all are one vessel now. It takes more than just a house to make a home. It takes that union also to make up that home. So you can't, when you inviting people into your home, you kind of jeopardizing and you putting yourself out there to be criticized. And when with the whole thing with Jada, they say when she did what she did with August and all that, she opened herself up to criticism. People, when we do stuff, we open ourselves up to criticism. So I understand both sides. I understand why she felt the way she felt. I understand the mental battles they go through. I understand the mental struggles they go through. I understand, yeah, they made mistakes. They're not doing everything right. I understand that part. I understand that. Yeah, I understand all of that. But I also understand when we do things, even when they're wrong, we may not always be able to handle the consequence or the backlash from that. Because they've been in the spotlight for I don't know how long, for some years, and all this led up to that moment. It didn't just happen in an instant, in a second. This took years, because this is not really, although this is not the first time I've seen him slap somebody. I've seen other videos with him doing it. This was definitely indicated that he's probably at his limit. He probably can't take any more. And although he has a lot of success, he's probably had a lot of people that come against him, people that's trashing, that's talking bad about him. And I understand too. Like I said again, certain things they've done open up the door for criticism. But with that too, you could be the best person on earth and still have people talk bad about you, still have people talk crazy and stupid about you and trash you and bash you and all of this. And but I say, was he wrong for this? I could say he was. I wouldn't have handled a situation like that, especially at the Oscars. How this thing should be handled, since Chris Rock used words, you battle him with words. Now, because Will Smith, he got funny stuff too, and he was a rapper. If he felt offended, he could have took jabs at Chris Rock, and or he could have confronted him after the Oscars, or he could have confronted him during commercial break. He could have, you fight back with words. They bring you words, you fight back with words. He jabbing at her, he should have jabbed back in a clever way. He should have found a better way to. But like I said, his mental state may not allow him to do that. That's how I know he's in a real bad mental state. Because Will, he's funny too. He's funny. He's an actor. He's a rapper. So he's quick with words too. But at that moment, his mind is not. At this moment, his mind is not in the right place. That's why he was crying when he was receiving the award. You could see it. You could tell. That he wasn't in his right headspace. He's real emotional. He's not in the best state to actually handle things rational. And like I said, I don't think he did it necessarily in honor of his wife. I think he just was triggered. It's a lot of stuff. They got a lot of stuff going on with their family. But like I said, it should have been handled in a more. Since it was a prestigious event, I should think it should have been handled with class, with grace. He should have approached her after that. You know what I'm saying? I don't promote us acting a fool at the Oscars. I ain't gonna never condone that. Black folks acting a fool at the Oscars. That's just not it's not something I'm just gonna ever go along with. I'm not gonna condone us acting a fool out in public. I'm never gonna be for that. You know what I'm saying? Now if somebody smack him, I can understand him getting jiggy with it. But other than that, if it's just words, it's just words. It might trigger you, yeah, it might make you angry, it might make you mad, yeah, it might crush your spirit. But I think it should have been handled that way, with words. He could have took some jabs at him when he got up to receive his award. I think it could have been, it could have been handled in private. He could have made a response to it. He have a platform. He could have made a response to it on his platform. A lot of things could have happened. He could have received this award with grace, to where he would receive this award with grace, and then you can still, quote unquote, protect and defend your wife if necessary. You don't have to make a fool out of yourself in order to do that. And he made a fool out of himself. That's how I feel. That's just what I've seen. He made a fool out of himself. And also with Chris Rock, you don't provoke somebody and tell them how to get angry. You don't know what's on people's mind. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are dealing with. Yeah, he was wrong for it. However, just like if you make fun of somebody's mama and they shoot you. Yeah, did they go a little too far for shooting you? Yeah, they did. But you don't know where this person's mind is. They could have just lost their mama yesterday. They could have had all kind of mental problems. You don't know what their struggle is. You don't know what they're battling with. You don't know what they're dealing with. And from the whole indication, the enemy been fighting him. He said the devil been fighting him all throughout. Been fighting him for years and battle. He been going through all kind of struggles and obstacles and everything else. And I believe if Chris Rock knew the full extent of what Will and Jada was going through, I don't think he would have said that, because I don't think he meant any. Like I said, I don't think he meant any harm. I don't believe he meant any harm. It's just a joke that went too far, and I believe it could be squashed. It could be dealt with. They can move on from it, and that's how I feel. But I'm just very analytical. I like to analyze what's going on in people's mind. I like to try to understand people's mindset. I don't want to go out there and just bash somebody, because I understand other people's perspective too. And I'm not harping on their marriage, because I don't know what's going on. But I do understand what happens when you open up your marriage to open marriages, to threesomes, to when you do that with marriage, you open the door for bad things to happen. You open the door for the devil to war with you and all that kind of stuff. But I could explain more about that on my Christian show. But I had to, like I said, this show more circular, so I try to keep it in the realm of current events and in the realm of current events, as far as celebrities, as far as a person's mindset. I try to, of course I'm gonna bring God in sometimes, because that's what I do anyway. I like to talk about God. I'm in ministry, but when I do topics like this, I still try to keep that keep a perspective of a human being, of what we go through as everyday humans. I know what's going on in his mind as a human. And Chris Rock held his composure pretty good. I could tell he was thrown off, because first he said we're gonna give away a documentary. Then he said he's gonna give away an award for the best documentary. That threw him completely off. You could tell he was thrown. A lot of people say it was a prank. No, wasn't a prank. He was thrown off completely. He said we're gonna give away documentaries. He didn't know where to go after that. He was lost. When you throw off a comedian, you throw it off. That caught him off guard, Cause everybody was laughing, everybody was kiki kaka, then bam, smack in the mouth. You know, so that was not wasn't a prank. Like I said, I think I understand his mental state, Will Smith's mental state. I don't think Chris Rock meant any harm, and overall view, I think it could have been handled better. I think and if Chris Rock was wrong, if Chris Rock knew about her condition, it was out of pocket. It was dead wrong. He was dead wrong for that, because people take different things different. You don't you know, certain things you can't. Some things is too far. Especially if they knew each other, he knew what Will been going through in the situation. He could have left that. Certain things you can leave out. You could be funny. You can be funny without taking things incredibly too far. You know what I'm saying? And as far as with if he knew it was out of pocket, if he didn't, then I can't say he was out of pocket if he didn't know about her hair condition. If he didn't know, then he didn't know. I can't hold something against him that he didn't know. Then he wasn't wrong if he didn't know. He was just a joke, because he shaved. All he probably knew is she shaved her head, and that's it. He probably didn't know. But if he did know, he was wrong. That's all I have to say about Chris Rock. Because he's a comedian, he gonna joke. Everybody get these jokes. Everybody gonna get these jokes. No matter who you are, he's a comedian. So he gonna say things. They're gonna say things that's not they gonna have, some of them have dark humor, some of them have other types of humor. But as far as Will Smith, yeah, he was dead wrong. I understand why, cause his mental state. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not gonna be stable. Everybody's not. We can't expect everybody to always act proper. Everybody to always act, cause folks go through things. Folks go through stuff. And even though he may have opened up the door with a lot of that stuff, but either way, even if he hadn't, that wouldn't have stopped critics from attacking his founder, from attacking his kids, from attacking his, like I said, he was attacking this man's kids for the longest time, especially his son. So, you know, and as far as with Jada, I don't know enough about her to say that she's a narcissist, or to say that she is selfish, or to say that I don't know enough about it. I don't know. I can't say. All we know is what the media shows us. All we know is what we see on TV, or what we see on that's all we know. I don't know anything else, because people do things. Sometimes they do hurtful things out of instability, out of she may be going through a lot emotionally. Who's to say she won't turn it all around in the future? Who's to say she won't heal from that and become a much better person? Who's to say? Because a lot of us have done terrible things in our past. So I'm not gonna ridicule her. And we've all done horrible stuff when we was in a bad condition, when we was unhappy, when we were dealing with depression, or when we was going through a lot of different. So I don't know what she's dealing with. That's my point. So I'm not gonna because I don't know her. And we do things out of survival, out of instinct, out of, not saying it's right, but it happens. And especially if you hadn't grown to really just know better, that you shouldn't do this to this person. This is horrible. Sometimes we only look at humans in general can be selfish. So I'm not gonna just sit there and trash her. I don't know her. So I don't now with people with what I do on a lot of my shows, when people done killed babies, and I know there's trash. I know that there's sickos when they molest kids, or they going through crowds and opening fire on kids, and shooting up audiences, and of people, shooting up movie theaters and stuff. I know that they're sickos. I know that they're horrible people. I know that they're terrible pieces of trash that don't deserve freedom, that don't deserve to see the light of day. It's easy for me to judge their character. But with this, I can't do it. You know, I can't do that. I can't just sit down and just, he's terrible, he's a terrible man, or Jada's a horrible person. I don't know her. She hadn't killed anybody as far as I know. She hadn't done anything unspeakable like that. As far as with marriage, people screw up relationships all the time. Who doesn't screw? A lot of people screw up relationships. A lot of people screw up in their marriage. A lot of people don't handle their marriage correctly. A lot of people at first, they on the verge of divorce. They on the verge of, so I can't judge them in that regard. Now, like I said, I might not agree due to my walk with God. May not agree with the way they conduct the way they do their marriage. But that's my own personal, my own personal spiritual walk. That has a lot to do with that, more so than me bashing them for being horrible people. You know, how we don't know that God's gonna change their life, change them around, or change that around. We don't know. So, do I agree with that lifestyle? No, but and like I said, it's beside the point. The whole point is what happened at the Oscars, who was wrong, and how could it have been handled. That's the point I try to stick with through the course of this whole thing, because that's the only thing that mattered. This situation, I try to stick with it by situation basis, because the whole thing with their marriage, they already talked about that. You know, they discussed that. They said they was back together. They were gonna move forward with that. You know, that's in concrete, and that's why I try not to talk about that as much. I don't even discuss that a whole lot. But as far as this situation goes, I hope Will gets the help he needs, because he's obviously having some mental problems, mental trouble, and I hope that they're able to hash it out. You know, talk about it to make amends, and you know, to whatever's going on, that they squash it, that they make amends, that they can move on. You know, because you know, it's not nothing terrible, horrible in the news. It's just some celebrity stuff that went on, a joke that went too far, and a slap scene around the world. That's all it is. It's not. It's just public. That's the only difference between, you know, in it, because a lot of people have disagreement with their homeboys or with other guys. That happens in clubs. That happens in bars. That happens at parties, at gatherings. That happens in other places all the time. The only difference is this is you got rich people doing it, well-known rich people that have a disagreement. It's no different than any other situation, either in the hood, either in another setting with regular people. They still people, still human beings, you know. So I'm not. That's why I ain't judge. That's why I can't with celebrity stuff. I don't do, because they regular people. That's how I just see them, as regular people. They might be famous for one way or another, for a gift, or for they had a good opportunity that presented before them. They took advantage of it. Now they more well known and more popular. See, that's the only difference. They still regular people. They still go through stuff. They still have depression. They still have different other mental illnesses that they could possibly suffer from. They still have warfare, spiritual warfare, all that kind of stuff. So they're not exempt from dealing with those things. That's why I don't trash people for that, you know. But anyway, that's all my thoughts on that. I done rambled on long enough. I probably done bored some people, but that's just my take on the whole thing. I don't think it's I think it's something that's gonna be hashed out. They probably gonna move on from it, but we'll see. In future topics, I hope he gets help. Hope he gets the help he needs, because he's gonna need it. Hope they get some healing. Hope that family, the family as a whole, gets the help they need. Both Will and Jada, you know, can get the help they need to move on to, you know, because the fact that they still remain together, that's why I don't harp on their marriage and nothing like that, because they still remain together through everything. So that lets me know that whatever's going on in their marriage, they both okay with it. So whether I agree with it or not, that's that's on them. That's their life. That's their choices. That's their decisions. But I'll see y'all on the next go around. And if any other updated topics come up, I'm gonna be sure to upload. I'll talk about it, upload it. We're gonna discuss it and everything. But till next time, peace.